pleasant day to all viewers who are watching right now.
We are currently making this video to detail about our two topics,
which is typhoon
and earthquake.
As you all know, Philippines is prone to such typhoons, laying as it does us ride the typhoon belt near the country, which are currently in a mishap.
That aside, let's proceed how typhoons develop, shall we?
Typhoons form when warm air rises and hits cold air. They merge into a cluster up to 300 miles wide. Convergent winds force moist warm air into the atmosphere, where it releases latent heat and moisture condenses into clouds and rain. The cluster forms a single center of low pressure and begins to rotate. Evaporation and condensation fuel the storm's intensity. When a storm cluster occurs in the northwest Pacific Ocean west of the dateline, it is called a typhoon. The same kind of storm is called a hurricane in the North Atlantic Ocean or the northeast Pacific Ocean on the eastern side of the dateline. In other parts of the world, it is called a cyclone.
So now you know how they develop.
What are you going to do in times a typhoon occur?
Here's the safety precaution before and during and after a typhoon.
Store and adequate supply of food and water that would last for a few days. Canned goods are ideal, especially if cooking is not possible.
Always keep flashlights, candles, and batteries and first aid supplies available.
It is important as well to have an available transistor radio, battery, powered in case power supply will be unavailable, so you can be updated about the typhoon and its current location.
Inspect your house if necessary. Repair or fixing is needed. Example, roof, doors, windows, and ceilings.
Say ceilings. Monitor to your local radio, television, or visit the Weather Philippines for storm advisories on the progress of the typhoon.
Close the windows. Evacuate calmly. In case of flooding, turn off the main sources of electricity to prevent electrical accidents. Do not operate any electrical equipment during a flood.
Avoid contaminated food resulting from the lack of electricity and refrigeration. Have a knowledgeable person inspect an electrical connections before using electrical appliances.
I'm a ninja.
Check her house.
We need a knowledgeable person who will do this. So, keep safe.
If your house was damaged, make sure that it's already safe and stable when you enter.
Earthquakes are currently the world's deadliest and most damaging natural disasters. Between 2004 and 2011, nearly 700,000 people lost their lives when quakes hit countries as far apart as Haiti and Japan to Indonesia and Pakistan. Caused by movement of the Earth's tectonic plates, some regions are at constant risk. Seismic activity is concentrated along fault lines, areas of fracture in the Earth's crust, generally near ridges or tectonic plate boundaries. These huge plates are constantly in motion, and when they collide, one is pushed slowly beneath the other. The resulting friction creates energy along the fault lines, which eventually becomes so unstable they rupture, sending out a shock wave. This energy release is felt as an earthquake. After the initial jolt, aftershocks can be felt as neighbouring plates readjust into place. Most underground movement goes unnoticed by human beings, but occasionally a big tremor strikes. Among the world's most active seismic zones, Asia, Turkey and Afghanistan, Northern Africa and the Americas. Earthquakes are measured by their magnitude and intensity. The Richter scale, the most famous indicator, rates magnitude, in other words, the energy released during an earthquake. In theory, there's no limit to the scale, but in reality, no earthquake has measured more than the 9.5 recorded in Chile in 1960. Meanwhile, the European macroseismic scale rates intensity, in other words, possible consequences. There are 12 different levels. 1 indicates the earthquake cannot be felt, while 12 indicates a total change in landscape. In the latter case, the scale acts as a warning against other natural phenomena, such as landslides, avalanches or tsunamis, which could be triggered. Each year, some 100,000 earthquakes are recorded across the world.
Now you know how earthquake is formed, let's proceed to the preparedness of earthquake occurrence.
Earthquakes are really unpredictable and it may happen at any time or day.
Do you remember the past incident where a 7.2 magnitude hit Bohol?
Many of us were in a state of shock when it happened, and many of us reminiscing about the tragic calamities that hit Bohol.
So no matter what happens, all we need to do is buckle ourselves up and always be prepared.
If indoors, stay there, drop, cover and hold. Get under a desk or table and hang on.
If outdoors, get into an open area away from trees, buildings, walls, and power lines.
Down and lend a hand to others in need.
Guys, there's no more earthquake.
But always remember, there is always an aftershock.